That was Silk Sonic, Leave the Door Open, and that's what we need to do with logic and reason. The 62-year-old black man who decided that he would go on a shooting spree, shooting almost 24 people. Thank God no one has died to date that we know about. He obviously was troubled, made several social media posts, and indeed warned people that he would do exactly what he did. My question is, why is it so easy for troubled people like that to access weapons? There are things that are beyond debate. It is clear that crime and violence is rising across America. Murders are up, robbery is up, burglary is up, and in response to that, 20 states have decided to make it easier to get weapons. In several states, 20 states in the United States of America, you can purchase it and carry it. That cannot be to make us safer. That can't be to make us safer. It is like opening up donut shops if you're obese. We clearly do not care about the safety of the American citizens, or this would not be the response. How is it now we have made it harder to access mental health help, made it harder to access people who are really, alcohol, substance abuse, make it harder for that. Like if you're mentally ill, it's hard for you to get help, but easy for you to get guns. And as a matter of fact, you can get a gun for almost every personality. We have decided to play to the deepest fringes of the right and allow them unfettered access to weapons, endangering society. Who do you think is going to die, is going to be most affected by that? It is going to be black and brown people and women. Women in America across the world are more likely to be killed by somebody they know. As a matter of fact, in Canada, you can't have a gun unless your two previous mates say it's okay. 3 previous mates say it's okay. Who do you think is going to be affected by this? More women are killed by people that say they love them than almost any other way. If there's going to be, so you think that a violent society where crime is rising, where alcoholism is rising, where drug use is rising, where inflation is rising, you think the solution to that is to give people unfettered access to weapons, to let them just walk in. After they get it, they can just start carrying it. You wouldn't do that with any other thing. And you think that that is going to make it safer. You think that that is the cure. There's no doubt it is beyond debate. And now the cure, like for a rising crime level, and oh yeah, I'm just gathering all these weapons. If you're gathering multiple weapons and dozens of rounds of ammunition, either you're a bad guy now or you're a bad guy waiting for your moment. What you're waiting for is something where you're going to need all that firepower. Whether it's a race war, or whether somebody pisses you off, or whether it's aliens come down, you're not hoarding weapons for any other reason other than to use them if necessary. If you got dozens of weapons with thousands of rounds of ammunition, you're waiting for a moment to have to use them. And we've made it easier. America is more violent than it's ever. Crime is rising higher than it has in the last 20 years. Big city, small city, medium-sized city. More women are being killed than in the past few years. Big size, large city, medium-sized city, same thing. And the solution is to let people have unfettered access to weapons. Just walk in, pass the background check, and start carrying it. You're truly trying to turn this place into Tombstone. Because it's your right. Nobody ever, you know what? We don't question the farm. When you walk in to buy 2 packs of Sudafed, when you walk in to buy cold medicine, you cannot do it because they're afraid you're going to do something with it. The same thing should be true of weapons. You should not be able to have unfettered access to weapons. They're clearly using them. They're not for self-defense. Your response to a rising crime rate is to make it easier for the get. And honestly, it isn't just law-abiding citizens that get them. When people get breaking through those houses, who do they take to? Weapons. You're not trying to make America safer. You're not trying to make America a better, more reasonable place. What you're trying to do is appeal to a fringe minority. And everybody's life hangs in the balance. You can't get on a train. You can't go to movies. You can't go to the mall. You can't go to church without somebody who probably shouldn't have a gun doing something crazy. And your response to these state legislators, they don't have any concept. They don't have any respect for you or your safety. They don't care if your children get shot up. They don't care if your churches get shot up. They don't care if your synagogues get shot up. They care about appealing to a fringe minority. When something happens, all they do is pray and make it easier to get weapons. Literally, it is easier to access weapons than it is cold medicine. It's easier to access weapons than it is help for mental illness. Now that, in effect, is actually a mental illness. When you decided that your rising violence, your rising crime rate should be met with the very thing that is used to perpetrate it, you have taken a dip off the deep end. That's not state legislation. That's literally turning America to what they always envisioned, the Wild Wild West. That's a little note from the GED section. We got the Jazz Report coming up in 15 minutes. It's the D.L. Hughley Show.